in Hell Band!
Christmas flair.
Yeah, spirit of the fucking season.
Oh my God, this is once a year we do a Christmas episode, and we usually time it around Christmas holiday.
Yeah, and this one, not bad. It's gonna be a good one.
I say we just enjoy the sleigh bell. That's just bringing in this holiday. It's just gonna make this episode pop.
No.
What? You don't like it?
No, because to be frank, I mean, you can probably gather from the title of this one, it's a bloodbath, a Christmas bloodbath.
Christmas Bloodbath,
yeah.
2017 Bloodbath.
We're talking about some dead kids here, and we don't really want that to be like hardwired, associated to the holidays spirit, I guess.
When we say dead kids, we want you guys to know we're gonna say it with holiday cheer.
Yeah, at this point, you guys know what we do here. Speaking of, welcome back for another exciting holiday edition of the Dinner in Hell podcast, the show where two amateur historians talk about the atrocious underbelly of history. I am one of your co-hosts, Brad the Impaler, and with me, as always, a Yuletide Ron Maiden.
You are correct. Man, I've been doing too many Farley references.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible.
On the episode before Rat Torture, MK Ultra, yes. I think I did some kind of Farley reference, but
maybe something from SNL.
You know what? Just real quick about Farley, I knew where I was when I heard about his death. Yeah, I was in Southgate, Michigan, Trenton Road, going towards Eureka, like coming out of that road from like Southgate Meyer. It's like Leroy Street.
Yeah,
there's a light. They were on the radio and they're like, yes, it is confirmed that the body that was found in the hotel in Chicago it was to be 35-year-old Chris Farley. You know, I was like, I freaking pull over to the gravel shoulder. You know, like the brakes, gravel's sliding, and I'm just like, I had to take a moment. I could not freaking believe. I mean, I knew the dude partied. He's like living a really unhealthy lifestyle.
I have like sort of vague memories of it.
You know, he had Michigan ties. Who's the guy, Tom Arnold, that married Roseanne Barr?
Yes.
He got married to a woman in Michigan. And when he got married, it was in Michigan, like where she lived.
And I think they live here now.
And Farley was like his best man. So Farley was there in Michigan. Farley was in Michigan. Like, God damn it, we were so close. But I heard a pretty negative story about him from that party. I don't really want to say because let the man rest on. I'll tell you off air, or you can private message us.
I don't think people who do that much cocaine are generally fun to be around.
Yeah, he had some issues. He had some demons. God damn it. Anywho, there's another one. And, we're gonna talk about a Christmas. This is gonna be the Christmas Bloodbath episode, right?
Yeah, we've got a few tales from the past for you of tragic events on or near Christmas, and a couple of prominent ones we're gonna get into is the case of good old Stagger Lee Shelton.
Hell yeah!
And something went down at the Lawson family farm. 1929. We'll get there.
North Carolina craziness.
Yeah, it's rough.
That's the children part. So there's a little heads up. So after we run through Stagger Lee, you'll be primed. And we also have something that the Dinner in Hell team put together, a musical holiday jingle.
Oh yeah, yep.
So enjoy that whenever we decide to bust that out. Well,
there's a few others that we'll get into too toward the end here.
Oh yeah, we'll wrap up the show with some
tidbits,
some quickies. Yeah. Dinner in Hell speed round,
quick hits or something like that.
We're gonna put a minute timer on each story. You can only riff for 1 minute. Set the timer. And Stagger Lee begin. No, this one's we're gonna do Stagger Lee in depth.
Yeah. We got a lot to say about this dude right here.
At least 15 minutes of Stagger Lee. At least.
All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to March 16th, 1865, Texas.
Ma'am, Miss Shelton,
Yeah?
it's a boy. Oh, shit.
What shall I name him?
I don't know. Currently, you need to decide.
Lee, that sounds good. So, yeah, Lee Shelton, born March 16th, 1865, down Texas way. Now, he must have had an awful rough start to life because Lee was black.
Wait a second. All right. I just want to say one thing real quick. I just want to apologize that it took this many episodes for us to finally have a black subject. But the positive side, well, it's like white people kind of dominated all the evil shit that was done. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's not your fault. It's just that whites were just better at being evil.
yeah, sorry.
Step up your game, black race.
Commit some more atrocities. Well, yeah, so just 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. So probably not super duper enlightened. He probably wasn't having like a fun time. Well, good old Lee developed into a folk hero eventually for like early blues musicians. And there was a song named after him, one of his 8 billion nicknames, that was covered by lots and lots of famous early blues musicians. And this dude was an icon of like style and toughness. Those two don't usually come together.
Did we say all his nicknames?
No, we did not.
Let's blast through.
All right, so we got Stagger Lee.
My favorite.
Stagger Lee.
Not that cool.
That sounds maybe like vaguely Italian.
And then
Also, Stagger Lee.
see, to me, the way it's like typed out, I feel like it's like jack-o'-lantern. It's like it's not
Stagger Lee.
Yeah, Stagger Lee is more like, oh shit, you done crossed Stagger Lee. Now you're gonna pay, mister.
Yeah, that does kind of. I
Holding
like Stagger Lee the best.
Holding
I
the
think, too.
revolver, big giant black guy with like a sweet hat. He's got a pipe. Yeah, smoking my pipe.
Probably like a horseshoe mustache.
I can dig it.
Now, he had a wide variety of occupations. I suppose you could say he was a man who wore many different hats.
Nice. That was beautiful.
Well, one job that he was able to maintain was that of a carriage driver in good old St. Louis. Now, St. Louis is really where a lot of his reputation was built up. He garnered that for being a prolific and successful gambler, as well as a pimp.
He had a podcast called St. Louis Maccast that went nowhere, and it was probably because of the times that like no one was listening to podcasts back in 1918. You know.
Yeah, he would speak it into a jar and then put the lid on, and
Yeah,
nobody wanted to hear it.
He'd etch it into vinyl. Yeah, no one ever
Every
listened.
week,
So
every Friday.
It was considered a failure.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the Ricky Gervais show. Didn't put podcasts on the map, unfortunately.
Didn't he also drive a carriage?
Yeah, he was a
horse-drawn
carriage.
carriage?
Yeah, he was a carriage. That was like his day job in St. Louis.
You ever been to Mackinac?
Yeah.
Those guys that do it?
Mm-hmm.
They're not even freaking. A lot of them are like. Some of them are like from like Czech Republic.
Yeah, the Czech Republic.
Yeah, just making sure that it still exists, right?
Yes.
It's not like Serbia and Croatia. Okay. I've never looked at a map before, I'll be honest with you. I don't know where Africa is. I don't know where Antarctica is. I know it's somewhere cold.
Now, he achieved prominence within, the social circles within St. Louis as a member of a prominent black gentleman's social club called the 400 Club. He was an officer in that club as well. Now, it seems odd that there's a carriage driver that's a prominent member of a social club to me.
400 Club.
400 Club.
You never hear about the 500 and 600 clubs like you have the 700 Club.
Mm-hmm.
The 500 Club was actually a group of people known as furries. And the 600 Club, this is something I had to look up, were the National Anglers Bass Fishing Lure Enthusiast Club. So like these are like
not fishing enthusiasts,
bass lure
enthusiasts.
Yeah. So you don't really hear much about the 500, 600, but the 400s,
yeah,
we're learning about right now.
Prominent, late 19th century black gentleman's social club in St. Louis.
His work as a pimp was one of St. Louis group of pimps called the Macs.
Yeah, this was like a group of pimps who were like, I guess maybe they must have been on the nose end of sort of pimping as a performance art. Like, you see like the like variety of conventions and stuff, like they dress up in the fancy clothes.
Yeah.
Maybe this goes all the way back to then.
It's got like goldfish in his heel of his shoe.
Yeah, some shit like
around.
that.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you, sucker. Holy shit. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that's
How old
a great
were you?
movie.
How old were you when you saw it?
Maybe 11.
Perfect. It was hysterical, right?
Yes.
You go to watch it now, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, my bunion, got it. Like,
yeah.
But that movie, when I saw it, I was like in high school. Oh, it was so freaking funny.
Yeah. Great movie.
Girl, you got the devil in you. No cramps. And he's like, ah. And he's like, man, what happened? Man, the bitch turned crazy, and I started running down the street. He's like, yeah, I heard you screaming down the street. And he goes, no, I wasn't screaming. I was whistling. You was whistling. Get this bitch off me. Thank you for the rim shot.
Nice.
Dinner in Hell band rim shot. It was not my joke. It was a movie quote.
Yeah.
So thanks anyways. Made me feel good.
Now, we talked about his million different nicknames, and there is, as with a lot of folk figures, a variety of possible sources for that. I mean, he was always alone. He didn't hang out with any friends, really. So that is also known as being Stag.
Yeah.
So there's one theory that that's why he's called Stagger Lee or Stacko Lee or any of the other variety of things. Another rumor is that he took it from a famous riverboat captain named Stack Lee. Maybe not.
Tell me about the riverboat.
Well, the what I think is the most credible rumor for how he may have gotten started is that he took it from a riverboat itself named the Stack Lee.
Oh, that's what I thought you were just saying. You're saying there was a riverboat captain named Stack Lee?
Yeah.
And then there was a boat named Stack Lee.
Yes.
The boat named Stack Lee was widely known for prostitution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it makes sense, I suppose, for a pimp to adopt that name.
Little in hell fun fact that you might not know is that particular boat was the boat that inspired the Minnesota Vikings party boat of 2005.
Oh.
That you might have heard about.
Nice.
In the papers.
Vikings. If they're not doing what they're supposed to do this season, they'll lose.
Christmas night, 1895.
Our friend Stagger Lee finds himself getting drunk at a St. Louis saloon, enjoying the company of his friend, I'm doing air quotes, friend, Bill Lyons.
Howdy.
Now, all accounts of the evening are that the men were friends and they were having a great time. They were, they get into politics. And you know how divisive that can be. I mean, so you can tell why the two guys started arguing. I mean, we're talking 1895. I know how controversial Grover Cleveland's policies were.
Right.
I mean, he's a political reformer and a fiscal conservative.
If I'm Stack Lee, I'm arguing.
Yeah, so if you're on either side of the Cleveland administration, you know how heated this conversation got pretty quick,
So they're arguing about politics.
Yeah, they're having a political disagreement
With alcohol consumption.
Yeah, by all accounts, quite a bit.
Smart.
Mm-hmm. Not a recipe for disaster at all. Now, here, trial accounts tell us what happened next. Stagger Lee, though the folk hero he would become, did start the fight, as it were. He grabbed Bill Lyons' was it a derby hat? Yeah, a derby hat, and just crushed it. Dick move. Those hats were probably pricey, man.
What an asshole.
Yeah, it wasn't like you could go to like the store and just grab one. You had to get them shits made for you back then.
Bill Lyons is like, you just made a huge mistake. Now you'll pay. And he takes the hat off Stagger Lee's head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he snatches Stagger Lee's Stetson
You don't do that.
right off his dome.
Stagger Lee's
Lee is
like,
not
I'm
gonna
gonna
play that shit.
I'm gonna show you exactly how Stagger Lee handles shit.
Yeah, so what's he do next? He pulls out his revolver and pistol whips Bill Lyons right in the face.
I pistol whipped a guy once with the safety off.
Yeah. Plugged yourself?
Holy shit. There was pieces of Salvation Army bell ringer all over the entrance of the Walgreens. It was pieces of them everywhere. It was like, if you're going to pistol whip somebody, you got a freaking safety on unless you want to like get a mop involved or you're wearing a raincoat.
You don't see many raincoats these days. Well, anyway, Bill Lyons was obviously and reasonably pissed when he got cracked across the face with a gun. So he made a move. He lunged towards good old Stagger Lee, and he promptly put his gun not smacking, shooting. He plugged him once, right in the stomach.
Damn.
Bill Lyons hits the floor. Stagger Lee calmly walks over, picks up his hat, puts it on, and walks right out of the saloon.
Door slams shut.
I imagine it's got the swingy doors.
Oh, and they're squeaky.
Yeah, even though this is in St. Louis, I'm like, this is an Old West showdown, you know what I mean?
The road outside's mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all just trampled from horse hooves.
Mm-hmm.
Horse shit everywhere. Got it.
Yeah, now Lyons did not survive. He bit the bullet a little while later on. Stagger Lee was tried and convicted of murder, sentenced to 25 years. Now, he did get paroled in 1909.
Nice.
Yeah, except he got thrown right back in 1911 for assault and robbery. From there, he didn't see that sentence out because he died in the Missouri State Penitentiary in 1912 from tuberculosis.
Our first acknowledged tuberculosis death on our program.
Interesting.
Yeah, Christmas Bloodbath also involved TB.
Yeah, it's a
Man, so much death on this episode. Buckle up. A lot of death coming.
But first, we're going to take a break from the Bloodbath to give you guys a little treat that the staff here cooked up over at Dinner in Hell Studios.
This was inspired by our Jeffrey Dahmer episode. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out now.
Yeah, it's another fun packed one full of fun stuff.
Enjoy.
Now, we here at the Dinner in Hell show, we like to get into the Yuletide spirit, don't we, Ron?
We love it.
Yeah, and we thought you might like to join us this year, our dinner guests, the Dinner in Hell family.
On the first day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
Some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the second day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
2 human hearts and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the third day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the fourth day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the fifth day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the 6th day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
A bag of human organs, 2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the 7th day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
7 skulls, a bag of human organs, 2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the 8th day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
2 entire skeletons, 7 skulls, a bag of human organs, 2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the 9th day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
A mummified scalp, 2 entire skeletons, 7 skulls, a bag of human organs, 2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the 10th day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
An entire torso, a mummified scalp, 2 entire skeletons, 7 skulls, a bag of human organs, 2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the 11th day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
Severed hands, an entire torso, a mummified scalp, 2 entire skeletons, 7 skulls, a bag of human organs, 2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray.
On the 12th day of Christmas, Jeff Dahmer left for me.
74 of the Polaroid picture. Severed hands, an entire torso, a mummified scalp, 2 entire skeletons, 7 skulls, a bag of human organs, 2 severed and preserved penises, 4 severed heads, 3 torsos, 2 human hearts, and some blood drippings upon a tray from the bottom of the refrigerator.
Okay, so
Well, how'd you guys like that one?
wow, that was impressive.
Yeah, I
I was
enjoyed it a
impressed.
lot.
I was really impressed.
It was really nice work.
God, I have a great band, a great staff. It's been a great year. This is our second Christmas that we've had together as this program has gone on.
Yeah, it feels really special.
Yeah. So let's talk about a family massacre.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know just the one.
Oh, tell me it's got a Christmas theme as well.
It sure does.
Was it,
Well, it leads off right where our last tale ends. We'll go to 1911, the year Stagger Lee was arrested. Out on the East Coast, a man named Charles Davis Lawson takes a bride, the lovely young Fanny Manring. Be forewarned, a lot of weird names in this one. But he marries this gorgeous girl named Fanny Manring. And the two set up as sharecroppers on a tobacco farm.
my name's Fanny Manring. No pun intended. Like, ma'am? Like, ma'am? Like, you coming on to me?
That's why she has to say no pun intended every time.
It's like, I think there's like gay bars in Chicago.
Probably.
In Chicago, they're, like the gay district. I think it's the Rainbow District. There's bars, I think, called like the Manhole, the Broadway. Like all like pun intended names.
It definitely seems like Manring could be one of those names.
Yeah. Manring.
Well,
Perversion. Dinner in Hell perversion. I'm guilty. I admit I was being perverted there. And I'm sorry.
It does sound like that's what it would be.
This is a Christmas episode. I got to remember that. People are listening to this just because it got Christmas in the title.
Yeah, there's not enough Christmas-themed stuff out there for people that we just had to throw our hat in the mix. I mean, there's nothing Christmas-themed for people to get into for the season. It's ridiculous.
So, okay.
So, Manring and Lawson, they have 8 children over the years as time passes.
Damn.
Yeah, the only hiccup there is the third one, William. He was born in 1914, unfortunately dying of an illness at the age of 6.
Kids died all the time back then. Probably one of the reasons to have 8 kids is to increase the odds of having future like laborers for the farm.
Yeah.
Amongst other labor pervert.
So this is what they're getting up to. They're squeezing out babies, and they are making money on this sharecropping business until 1927, when they've got the dough to buy themselves their own farm, which they do, moving to Germantown, North Carolina.
Oh, shit. No, you got Brad's Carolina accent. Hey, darling.
Yeah, his 2 younger brothers had already moved there. We're talking about his younger brother's Elijah. Okay, that's kind of normal. But his other brother's name is Marion.
Marion Hossa, NHL player.
The Lawson family farm, established out on Brook Cove Road.
Down there in Brook Cove.
Now, things go swell for 2 years, seems like, but in 1929, shortly before Christmas, Charles takes the whole family into town to get a family portrait and get some new clothes for everybody in the family to wear in the portrait.
Well, that's normal for people, right? Farmer people?
Not for farming people in the 1920s. Not normal at all. It was like really out of the ordinary.
Like JCPenney's was the only place that wasn't busy, like the portrait studio, because no one ever used it. Mm-hmm. Like there's no wait.
Yeah, this was a big expenditure for these people.
So the ma's like, how are we ever going to pay for all this, Pa?
Well, Fanny, my dearest Fanny Manring, don't worry about it, because soon you're not going to have anything to pay for it all forever.
Gosh damn it, Pa. You stop your kidding.
Oh, shucks. All right, let's take the picture. Yeah, so they get their family portrait taken, and things go back to normal for a little while until Christmas Day itself.
The picture itself is on Google.
Yeah, you can look at it, and it's creepy. Everybody's like dead face staring into the camera with no smile, except for Charles. He's like looking off into the distance with like a grin on his face. And it's pretty good evidence that he was planning on something, because the picture was so weird and he's doing weird poses and shit during it. What do you say we get on up to Christmas Day, Ron? 1929.
And that family portrait, the baby's in it, I gotta say. Whew.
4 months. Yeah, we'll run down the roster here. They got a solid NBA starting team plus subs for a family.
Junior Arthur, like Arthur, the son, looks so much bigger than his dad.
He's like a caveman kind of, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll snap. He'll just come in and like snap your neck.
Arthur, smash!
Arthur, snap his neck, son. Oh my God. So okay, I just pulled it up on my screen.
Yeah. Now, so we're talking the family. This Charles, 43, his wife Fanny, 37, their eldest daughter Marie, 17 years old. Their eldest son, Arthur, 16. Daughters, Carrie and Maybelle, 12 and 7. James, age 4. Raymond, age 2. And the baby, that's 4-month-old Mary Lou. Christmas Day, a time of celebration, but this turns very sour very quickly in Germantown.
1929.
1929, Christmas morning, the Lawson family is preparing for the celebration to begin at their aunt and uncle's house just down the road. They're all locals.
What about Arthur?
Arthur. Oh, good point. Arthur had been sent away on Christmas Eve by his father on an errand. Doesn't say what, but evidently errands take days in 1929.
He was sent to buy huge blue plastic drums and a bunch of acid.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, yeah.
It's like, go to Milwaukee, meet a man named Jeff.
Yeah.
He's going to point him out.
Here, get in this DeLorean. So the family was preparing for the festivities. That doesn't include Arthur, as you say, and it also doesn't include Charles, because Charles was preparing something very different. He himself was out behind the tobacco barn, and when his two daughters, Carrie and Maybelle, set out on the way to their aunt and uncle's house, he, when they got close enough, reveals himself from behind the barn and shoots the both of them with a 12-gauge shotgun. After that, he beats them to ensure that they are in fact deceased. I mean, I don't know about you, but
so you
12-gauge probably is obviously done the trick.
So you hear the 12-gauge blast, and Fanny is like, "What you shooting at, Pa?" And Charles is like, "Just our kids. Go back inside, bitch."
Oh, man, you got me. You got me with that one.
Charlie then made his way back to the house, shooting and killing his hysterical wife, who was on the porch.
Yeah. She, Fanny Manring got it next.
You gotta keep saying that. She's married now, man. She's Lawson now.
Hey,
God
homie,
damn it.
Oh no, she ain't. Homie, her gravestone says Fanny Manring on it.
That's why he did it.
Yes.
We're trying to find motives in this. I'm sitting here trying to figure a motive. That's it. He's like, he always fucking spited her for that. He's like, this fucking man ring bullshit. Every time we get a letter and I see that on the envelope, I'm pissed.
Yeah, kind of
Immediately pissed.
Like you, I say man ring another 5 or 6 times. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Jesus.
Well, so okay, we're joking about the poor woman. She's just been murdered on her own front porch by her husband. She ain't done nothing to nobody. Now, after he does this, he makes his way into the house where he finds his eldest daughter, Marie, simply standing still in a spot in the living room and just screaming, as she had been doing since the shooting began.
And if you see the picture on Google Images, she's like his size. She's the same size as him.
Yeah.
She's built like a brick shit house. No, she's
I mean, we'll probably have tweeted this. Like, you're going to want to see this picture if you haven't.
She looks strong.
Yeah, she's a real square jaw.
She's like the Jamie Lannister of freaking North Carolina.
The farm girl, man.
They got that jaw.
Anyway, so he shoots her, murders her, and
Marie.
the two young boys were looking for a place to hide. James and Raymond tried to find hiding places.
Ugh.
At 4 and 2, though,
Dad's got the gun.
They're not. Unfortunately, they're not hide and seek masters.
Their hiding skills need work.
Like we got feet sticking out from curtains. We got
one of them. I was told was standing in the corner with the milk, like the lampshade over his head. Like, I'm just a lamp. It's crazy.
Well, they didn't hide very well because he found them pretty quickly, and unfortunately,
one was holding branches like a plant. Like, I'm just a plant. I need water anytime. Oof. He finds the two boys, blows them away.
Yeah, blows them both away.
And then the baby Mary Lou was beaten to death.
Yes, 4 months old. Yikes.
Oh my God. That was a bummer. So that's a Christmas episode with the baby dying.
Yeah, so at this point, things aren't quite over yet.
Yeah, that's right. Charles is standing there. He's like, got his gun. He's like, look what I've done.
Yeah, he sulks off into the woods with his shotgun with him, and sometime later,
like town's on their way looking for him. Like,
not quite yet.
Police.
These are by neighbors. They're far apart. So before anybody knew about this, Arthur had returned from his errand and found the bodies of his family. At which point he raised the alarm.
Yes. All the family members were laid on the ground with their arms crossed and with the rocks placed beneath their heads. The two young boys reportedly had pop rocks under their heads, which was kind of cool.
Yeah,
it was cool of them. They're kids.
One last present. God damn. Ooh, God, this is a dark one. Now, after a while, the gathered crowd of concerned neighbors and sort of police heard a single gunshot off into the woods, which point they investigated, finding Charles's body, who he had shot himself then. He had been just pacing around in a circle around a tree before he did it.
In my fantasy, he dropped his bullets while he was reloading. He was like looking in the dark for him, like, God damn it. He's like walking around the tree, like, where the fuck the bullets? The law's coming. I gotta blow my brains out here.
Oh, that would be.
And he's like struggling to find it. He like was nervous, and they're like on the ground in the dark. That's the truth.
It does seem. Hopefully, he suffered a lot because, God damn, what a piece of shit. And it's gonna get a little bit worse. You might not think it's going to, but it is.
What do you mean? It's the end after he blows his brains out.
Yeah, but now we need to talk about why this may have occurred. There are a few theories.
Yeah, I thought okay, cool.
Yeah, so Charles did suffer a head injury right before he murdered his entire family. And as we've talked about on past episodes with people who do bullshit like this, there's often a head injury in the mix.
Yeah, trauma.
Yeah, but when they did the autopsy, his brain, at least as far as, a 1929 autopsy goes, said everything was kind of kosher. So that's probably didn't play into it.
Remember how we were trying to figure out how back then how'd they know brains?
Yeah.
How'd they know back then, were they that medically advanced? Like, look, this part here looks like it's like bruised or something. So it kind of looks like he'd be psycho. Yeah. Or something like that. Uh-huh. Or a certain part of it would be discolored.
Mm-hmm. Or like shrunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they could... Well, I mean, you could just measure shit, but I don't think they knew about that yet. I think that's relatively new. Like the brain size thing being correlated with sociopaths. I think that was discovered relatively recently.
Wasn't there other theory where he witnessed something?
Yeah, some people think that it's possible that he witnessed some type of organized crime activity and they wiped his whole family out.
Because back in 1929 North Carolina, organized crime was just running wild back then.
Yeah, I really thought it was a weird choice when because The Godfather's based on a book. I really thought it was weird when they switched it to New York City.
Yeah,
from where it was originally set,
Raleigh,
Germantown, North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, in Raleigh.
Yeah, right in there. Yeah,
it's crazy.
A lot of mafia activity on farms.
Maybe moonshine running or something. I don't know what the hell they doing.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, something like that. Alcohol.
Now, the third and much more likely motivation behind this is that he was having an incestuous relationship with his daughter, who was then 17.
That's awful.
Yeah, this is a friend of Marie Lawson's had been confided in by Marie that she was in fact also pregnant with her father's child at the time.
God damn it. So that add another death, add another life, if we're talking life. There was a life in there.
Yeah, and we've been ragging on poor Fanny Mannering this whole time. The friend also said that Fanny knew about it.
God damn it, Fanny.
Yeah, she had a rough go, dude.
Fanny, you and I need to have a little talk.
I didn't say she approved. I said she knew about it. But I don't think women had a ton of agency in the rural areas, even in, like 1929. So she was probably just fucked. She had to deal with this.
You want to live in them woods out there?
Yeah, it's
or you want to shut your mouth?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any famously rich Manring family that she could have belonged to. Go back to some like Manring Manor.
Tell you what, I apologize for being so cold to you. I want to take you into town and we're all going to have a family portrait done.
Yikes. Yeah, so that's probably why he did it. And another interesting little tidbit about this that I think is really fucked up is that after the incident, Charles's brother Marion opened the farm on Brook Cove Road as a tourist attraction, eventually having to move the cake that Marie herself had baked that Christmas morning under glass because visitors kept stealing the raisins off of it.
Stealing raisins off a displayed cake says a lot about the candy selection of 1929.
I agree.
Like beech nut gum.
Yeah, that's it. There's like 6 Hershey chocolate bars produced every year.
What is that old people candy? Like spice candy? It's like gelatin with
like a
sugar
gumdrops.
Yeah.
Or hard candy.
Sugar spice. Hard candy. Go down and get yourself a couple pieces of hard candy.
Werther's Originals.
Yeah.
Reason.
Did you ever have like a grandma or grandpa have a bowl of nuts and a nutcracker? You just crack nuts, like eat fresh nuts?
No. But they did have old people candy. My grandpa always used to have fucking Necco wafers. He always had Necco wafers and Rolos, and my grandma always had M&Ms. It was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And Necco wafers, I'm like the only person I can think of that likes those.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not even sure what the hell that is.
They
like
come in like a... Yeah. They're
like a pink, brown, and vanilla.
That's exactly what it is.
Those are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're on board with the Necco wafers.
Little Debbie Nutter Butters, I think they're called. They're like a peanut butter, all dipped in chocolate. Come on.
Good as hell.
Hell yeah. It's cheap too. You can buy the whole box.
Mm-hmm. So that's the Lawson Family Massacre.
Holy shit. Brought to you by
Little
Debbie. Oh my God. I can't believe it. That was perfect. So, on that note, baby's dead.
Yeah.
Everyone's dead.
Let's talk about some good old-fashioned candy.
God. Whew.
Necco, if you want us to cut that out, you know what you have to do. Cough up that dough. Pay us and we'll cut it.
Little Debbie's like, keep it.
We want this associated with our brand.
I'm the CEO of Little Debbie, and I just want to say I listen to your program every Sunday afternoon after it drops as I sit with my family.
Thank you very much.
We love it. Thanks,
It's
CEO.
it's a family program, that's for sure.
We love emails like that.
All right, so you've heard about Stagger Lee.
Yeah, the hat guy.
Yeah, and you've heard about the Lawson murders, and you've heard our wonderful song. That's the meat and bones of it, but we've got a few more tidbits that we dug up, historical murders from Christmas that we thought were pretty interesting, and we'll get into a few of them before we get out of here today.
Yeah, this is a bloodbath, you guys.
Yeah, think of this as like the wrap up. We're we got a fire roaring in the studio.
We're gonna do a speed round. We're gonna do try to get through a few topics. How we doing on time, BT?
I'd say we got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, we can cruise through a few of these.
Hell yeah.
Reminds me of the time we did the remember the time we did the episode about mummification and we brought up Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode we went through some famous quotes of his on the Google results. Mm-hmm. And we're mad at him and shit.
Yeah.
And that
was fun.
And then when I tweeted it at Brendan Fraser on Twitter, And one of his fans like responded to us and was like, I'm really looking forward to this episode. Like, can't wait to hear about what Brendan has to say.
Yeah, there's not enough people talking about that movie. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny. Memories.
I wonder if you ever got around to hearing it. Maybe he's listening. If you're listening now, tweet at us.
Yeah.
We'd love to talk to you.
Christmas Eve, 1881, Ashland, Kentucky. The second Fanny of our program, of today's program.
Yeah, I'm sure this is just a laugh riot to our British English-speaking listeners.
Why is Fanny common over there?
Well,
Hi, my mom's name's Fanny.
No, it definitely wouldn't be, because you know how like here Fanny is slang for like ass?
Yeah.
In England, Fang...
Easy now.
In England, Fanny is slang for vagina.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you're welcome, UK listeners. This is probably our most sexual show so far for you guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of Fannies in this one.
So Fanny Gibbons, her brother Robert, or to the layman.
Yeah, good old Robert Gibbons.
And next door neighbor Emma Thomas are brutally murdered. The house was burned.
You're trying to cover up the crime.
Bricklayer George Ellis confessed to the crime, naming his accomplices, who were sentenced to death by hanging, while George got life in prison.
Oh, for like cooperating?
So George has to sit in jail the rest of his life to think about what the hell he had done. Nice.
Yeah, but he ducks the death penalty for snitching.
Right. But he's got to do life. So he's in there for life.
Well,
he's got to think about his friends that got the hanging, right?
Well, not for very long.
So he's in there for the rest of his life.
Well, of course he is.
If he gets there.
Yeah.
If he makes it to the jail.
Yeah, which he doesn't. An angry mob went to his jail, broke him out, took him outside, and hanged him.
Lynched him.
Yeah, lynched him right then and there. Angry mob come down, grab him, drag him out of there, and lynched him.
Makes me think of Ice Cube and the lynch mob. When he left NWA, he had the lynch mob. Oh, some great freaking 90s rap shit.
Yeah, dude, I love Ice Cube.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's like I have like so much nostalgia tied into Ice Cube's music.
I could recite America's Most Wanted, probably.
We might get a copyright thing.
Hey man, wake up. It's time to go. I never did like you. I shortened that one, but yeah, I could do it.
All right. Christmas Eve. This one, more recent. We're going to talk about Ernest Hulaver Jr.
You can talk about whoever you want to. Whoever you want about, Brad.
Well, he murdered his two daughters, Victoria and Elizabeth, as well as his wife, Jean, in their family home. Now, Hulaver had broken into the house with help from his brother after being prohibited entry because of a sexual offense charge involving his daughters. So, real piece of shit we're talking about here.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, the only survivor of the gruesome attack was Victoria's infant daughter, 9-month-old Madison. Now, Hulaver has been on death row since 2004, so this is recent. And his brother is currently serving a 12 to 25-year sentence for helping to break him in. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, I got a sister.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't help her break in and murder anybody. What in the world is going on in this family?
Poor little baby. All I want for Christmas is my sisters and mom back.
Oh,
my sisters and mom back.
Oh, man, that's brutal, dude.
We want our listeners to enjoy themselves. We know we have intelligent listeners. Our listeners are a special breed of people. And brood.
Yeah.
Not quite rude or crude. No, not much attitude.
Probably most of them are dudes.
And sometimes they probably listen to the show while they're subdued.
Nice one.
John and Amy Johnston hosted a Christmas dinner party. They invited neighbor Daniel Heron and his wife. Spirits were high and the liquor flowed freely. Soon, however, Daniel and John began bickering about an old grievance. There goes alcohol.
Yeah.
Liquor flowed. Things escalated so quickly that Daniel pulled his gun and tried to shoot his host. But no, Amy jumped in the line of fire and was shot in the right side of her body. She died soon after. Daniel Hanneran was arrested for manslaughter after Amy Johnson's death.
Now, boy, that's fucked up. Now, let me ask you this. Even if, like, your neighbor invites you over, right?
Yeah.
Either you go or you don't. But if you don't like him, why the fuck are you bringing a gun with you just to go to your neighbor's house?
Did we talk about this at the pre-meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, why?
Why the fuck is there a gun in play? By the guest, not the host. I could understand if the host got mad enough and it was like, well, I now remember that I have a gun in the other room. Goes and grabs it.
Taped underneath the desk.
This guy was like, honey, we're late for dinner next door. And he's
I forgot my gun.
Forgot the pistol. I'll be right back, honey.
What are you bringing the pistol for? Just in case we have, alcohol flows freely.
Yeah, I might want to murder somebody tonight. Maybe our neighbor, maybe his wife.
The thing, not only was he arrested for manslaughter, he also had his firearms permit revoked due to his poor aim.
On the wall of shame over at the NRA, I guess. Jack Doyle, Don Sullivan, and Buck Hannon traded stories of their sexual prowess on Christmas Eve.
And they probably had bull riding stories, too, with those names.
Yeah.
I'm Jack Doyle. Been riding with the PBR for about 17 years now. I'm a veteran of the league.
Yeah, but you ain't got nothing on Buck Hannon.
Well, listen, Don. It's between you, me, Buck, and these walls.
Well, they were friends, evidently. They were hanging out. And they were, talking bullshit about how good they were at sex. But eventually, and alcohol probably going into this, Sullivan crosses the line.
How dare you assume? We don't assume on Dinner and Albert. That's not our job.
We're not amateur assumers.
We tell the facts after the assumptions have became facts.
Assumptionists.
Yeah. We create words.
Well, here's the fact. Eventually, Sullivan went way too far and started talking shit about Doyle's wife.
And bull riding skill because he wore a face mask.
A hockey helmet.
Only pussy wears face mask on a bull. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Sorry, Don.
Yeah, like there's somebody who could be described as a pussy who is riding a bull. So a fight ensued, and the two drew their revolvers. Alcohol and revolvers.
By pussy, we mean fanny for our UK listeners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Now, the two drew their pistols, wherein Doyle shot Sullivan dead. So, man, the guy who did the insulting also did the murdering. You'd at least like to think it's revenge murder, but nope. You might be pleased soon to learn, though, that Hannon then followed Doyle back to his hotel, where he then shot and killed him to avenge Sullivan.
This is for Sully. So he avenges Sully's death.
Yeah, he avenges good old Sullivan, puts Doyle into the ground, and then escapes the Texas town on horseback, riding off into the sunset.
Horse gallops away into the sunset. Do we hear the cry of a falcon in the distance? Goodness. This has been a Christmas Bloodbath spectacular.
This is the last one we're going to talk about. Some of you astute true crime fans out there might mention a Christmas murder that we didn't think of, but we didn't mention her in this episode because we think probably it's going to deserve its own. That's the murder of JonBenet Ramsey.
Yeah, little child pageant queen model.
Yeah.
Talent. She was found dead in her home?
Yeah, in her own basement.
And then also found a ransom note.
Yeah, Well, yeah, oh yeah.
Like,
We'll
what
get
was the
all into
ransom
that.
note? Like, hey, we'll give her back. Well, actually, she's in your basement.
Yeah. Just give us money anyway.
Yeah, it's all in like clippings from a different like a magazine letters.
Yeah, something.
Taped
I think
down.
it was handwritten, but I also think it was handwritten by one of them.
How dare you?
Bum. Yeah.
Oh, we need to get the friggin' like the freaking the music.
Like Unsolved Mysteries or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll probably get into that in an episode in the future. So if you're sitting there pissed that we didn't talk about it, we'll get there someday.
Oh, all you Christmas murder freaks out there. You're like waiting for us to bring up Jean Bonnet.
It'll happen, but at a later date. TBD.
She'll get an hour. She won't get a little riff. Wow. It's been a great freaking episode, BT.
Yeah, I've had a great time here celebrating the Christmas spirit. The studio is even decorated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking all kinds of holly everywhere and stuff. It's
There's
great.
some real Christmas cheer in here.
The Hanukkah candle holder is up.
Yeah.
Menorah. That's nice of the team to put other culture holiday spirit in the room. I don't mind it.
Of course. Of course.
This band.
Oh,
This
so
audience.
good.
Oh my gosh.
So wonderful.
I think I'm out of adjectives for this to describe this band. We have to look at the source again. I promise next episode we'll have a new adjective for this freaking band.
Nice.
We hope you enjoyed the rat torture episode, which was a little squeamish, but had some laughs.
Yeah, that was a fun one, I thought.
Where can they find us? We got
Get at us. Twitter, Dinner and Hell Pod. We are on Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube. Email us at dinnerandhellpodcast@gmail.com. I mean, don't forget to rate and subscribe on iTunes.
review us on Podknife.
Hell yeah. Tweet at Podknife. Tell them how much you love us.
Say you heard about Podknife on Dinner in Hell.
Yeah.
They'll give us $1,000 every time someone tells them that.
Yeah.
Just kidding. They don't know we're saying
They're
this.
not going to give us that. But
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our listeners at home. Have a happy holiday season. And be good to one another.